So it's no secret that I love the Steam Deck, but there was something about the Steam Deck that we all kind of knew about, but it was something that was more on the side. For December, I went back home and I took my Steam Deck with me, and I discovered something about it that I didn't know was sort of there. Obviously, I won't lead this on too much. It is the docking experience. Now, I did cover the dock and all that stuff in my review of the Steam Deck, but it was something that I had on the side. It wasn't something that I would kind of use it for most of the time. It was more of, hey, I can use this as a PC if I want to, or connect it to the TV if I want to. But in most cases, I would play the Steam Deck in its handheld form. So fast forward to December, I went back home, I took my Steam Deck, and I had a random dock that I would use for my PC just kind of lying around. So I decided to start using that when I was there. I connected it to a 4K TV that my parents have. And next thing you know, that experience was quite surprising. Now, Steam Deck is not exactly that powerful, so it does kind of upscale games up to 4K if it can, or in many cases, you'll have to leave that game at 720p or 800p whilst it's at that 4K TV resolution. What this means in many cases for people that do kind of focus on that is that it will look a little pixelated. At the same time, many of these games will also run at like 30 FPS, 40 FPS, depending on what kind of resolution and settings that you have set it at. So overall, it might not seem like it's the best experience, but I'm here to tell you that it actually was quite good. You're not gonna be seeing every little detail on these games or anything like that, but in situations like this where you have your Steam Deck and you're traveling somewhere, or let's say you don't even have anything else connected to your TV, 720p running on a 4K TV is not as bad as what people may make it out to be. Case in point, my sister and I started replaying Elden Ring on the Steam Deck. We decided to make a new character, so we made like this whole mage build. We're kind of going through the whole game as we did in our separate playthroughs on the PlayStation 5. Next thing you know, we are 27 hours into that game on just the Steam Deck alone. And throughout this 27 hours that we played of Elden Ring on the Steam Deck, not once did we feel that the game didn't look good. Not once did we feel that the game was not running as well as it should be. And not once did we not enjoy ourselves. So let me kind of reel it back in terms of how the dock and everything works. I know I covered this before, but I'm gonna go through it quickly again. So for the purposes of this video, I will be using the official dock, but you can use any dock that you have, anything that connects into your laptop or PC, whatever it may be, you can use it with the Steam Deck. So for the dock, of course, have the HDMI connected into the dock, into the TV, have a power supply connected in there as well. Of course, because the Steam Deck's battery life is not the greatest. So you do want to kind of have it connected. It doesn't really impact the battery overall in terms of, the battery health and stuff like that. At least from what I've seen, it seems to be fine. But you would want it to be connected just because you want to treat it as that console experience. The next thing, of course, is having a Bluetooth controller connected. So we did kind of have an 8-bit DOE controller connected, but you can connect an Xbox controller, a PS5 controller, whatever you may have, connect it in there and you're good to go. So first thing I want to discuss is the controller. Now, I did have a couple of issues with the Nintendo Switch controller and also the 8-bit DOE controller to an extent. There would be times where it would sort of disconnect or buttons wouldn't respond, but I did not see this issue happen with my Xbox controller. So I don't know if it's that specific controller that was having this issue or whatever the case may be, but definitely do a few tests with whatever controller you're using just to make sure that it is connected to your Steam Deck properly. At the same time, you have to be mindful of any interference, anything like that. Like any Bluetooth controller or Bluetooth device, you will have some issues like that here and there. That's why I always prefer the USB dongle, the 2.4 gigahertz length, wireless length, whatever it is, when I connect my controllers to my PC or anything like that. But again, let's go with the Steam Deck being your console. You have to use that Bluetooth controller. Once everything is connected, you're basically good to go. You can use this as a console. When you start it up, of course, it goes straight into the Steam OS, so you can kind of browse through your games. The next thing you obviously want to make sure is, at least from what I've seen, is keep the resolution at 720p or 800p, whatever that resolution is on the Steam Deck itself. I know you can kind of bump it up for a lot of the games, and depending on that game, you can kind of do some research on that. I will put a link down below to what I use in terms of finding out, the perfect settings for games, whether or not a game is verified and stuff like that. I use a specific website for that, which is quite good. But in many cases, I'm looking at this as a console experience. So you're not going to be playing just games like Dead Cells or Hollow Knight, stuff like that. I'm looking at games like Gotham Knights that just came out, or Sonic Frontiers, Elden Ring, and how that experience translates over to a 4K TV. So making sure that those games are at 720p, 800p, whatever kind of makes it run well on the Steam Deck, keep it as is, and that resolution will translate over onto the 4K TV. Of course, the next thing is the distance from the 4K TV. So look, if you are close to that 4K TV, you might notice the game looking a little pixely. But when you're playing the game, trust me, it won't actually matter. Now, once all of that is kind of set up, you're basically ready. You're going to be playing the Steam Deck as a console. And like I said, the resolution and all, it might not be perfect, but if you're at this point where you are using the Steam Deck or wanting to use the Steam Deck as a console, these things won't matter. If you're already playing these games on your Steam Deck, in many cases, you do have to drop the resolution, or you do have to drop the texture quality, whatever kind of graphical quality that you need to kind of mess around with to get it to a playable level. You're already okay with that. When you kind of put that on the TV, just imagine you're just kind of taking that portable screen and just putting it on a 4K TV. And of course, it's not gonna fully expand. It's not gonna use every single pixel on that 4K TV, but it will kind of stretch it out a little bit, which I know, again, it doesn't sound that great. But if you are kind of playing it in a regular kind of couch environment, the TV will be far enough and you will actually not notice any of that. This kind of goes to my other thing where I found the Steam Deck to be quite awesome during my vacation time, was using it as a multiplayer console game experience. So my cousin and I wanted to play this game called the Cowabunga Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles edition, whatever it is. Basically, it has all the old school TMNT games that we kind of grew up playing. And I didn't really have any of the consoles there, but I did have my Steam Deck, and I saw that this game was available on Steam. So I picked it up, connected it to the dock, connected two controllers. So we had a Nintendo Switch Pro controller and the 8-bit Do controller, connected both of those, and we were able to play this game like as if we had a console there. I did not expect to be using my Steam Deck as a multiplayer kind of a thing. I know that obviously you can connect more than one controller to it, but when you kind of look at a Steam Deck, you don't look at it as that sort of a console. It is meant to be kind of enjoyed portably in your hands and just by yourself, or if you play online with someone else. But of course, if we had more than two controls, we could probably have added more people, because you can play some of those games with 4 people. But I love that that was something that I could do. Initially, I was not thinking about it in that sense. So if there's a fighting game, anything like that comes out on Steam or on the PC, I know that when I pick it on the PC, I'll be playing it here with my fighting stick or anything like that. But if my friends want to play it, I don't have to kind of crowd them into my little PC area. I can just connect my Steam Deck to my TV, connect a bunch of controls to it, and I'm good to go. I've been playing a bunch of Gotham Knights and Sonic Forces, Ollie Ollie World, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on my Steam Deck, and I've kind of switched it over to the console experience when it was docked when I was back home. And honestly, I was not even kind of phased or felt that I was not immersed in the game or was missing something from that game when I was playing it docked. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order looks great, it plays great, it runs at more than 40 FPS most of the time, and even though I was playing it at that 720p, 800p kind of a range, it looks really good. The way it kind of fills the screen is kind of perfect, and at the same time the game ran so well that you don't even notice it. Similarly for Sonic Forces, it was such an awesome experience because I've always heard great things about this game. It just came out, but it was kind of up and down, but a lot of people that play this game really liked it. So when this game was on Steam and it was on sale, I said, you know what, let me check it out. I'm gonna play it on my Steam Deck to see how it plays. It played well, and then I thought, you know what, my sister actually loves Sonic, why don't I just put this on the TV and see what that experience will be like playing on the TV. Of course, the experience was awesome. It played as I expected. The music and everything sounded great because now it was connected to the TV and the speakers. So that was a big plus as well. But overall, the game ran really well. I did not feel like the game was running slow or bad or this or that. At the same time, when it comes to the resolution, because we were at that couch distance from the TV, you don't notice it. You don't notice any pixelation, anything like that. You just notice the game playing well and playing smoothly as you would expect. Gotham Knights is kind of a game that does not run the best on the Steam Deck. This is just kind of a known thing. It does run 30 FPS-ish. Even if you put everything on low, it might dip below that here and there. But I had played this game at 30 FPS on my Steam Deck for a while, and I was okay with it. I know that on the regular console, on next-gen consoles itself, it is kind of limited to that 30 FPS range. So a lot of people are kind of already used to that as a console experience. Obviously, in my case, having played that on my PC, it does feel a little off. And again, in this specific situation where you're taking your Steam Deck on the go, or let's say you don't have any other console and you connect it to your TV through that dock, the game runs at 30 FPS, even though if it's 720p, 800p, and it's upscaling it or whatever to the 4K, or even if it's not upscaling it, it's just stretching it out, it does not matter. Because at the end of the day, the game is still the same, the game is still fun, you're still enjoying that story, everything runs as expected, and you're actually able to play this game on your TV. On the other end, when there's games like Hollow Knight or Ollie Ollie World, games that run really well on the Steam Deck as is and don't really require the next level graphical, it doesn't require 4090 to kind of run it, those games you're able to kind of push at a high resolution on your TV. But again, when those games are already running so well at 720p or 800p, when you put it to your TV running at 60 FPS, again, you still don't notice it. And those games are ones that you can definitely push if you want. But again, I still look at those games as not something that's kind of what I want to focus on for this video. I want to focus on those next gen games that are coming out, or games that have already come out that really push this console to its limit and allow you to kind of be able to experience having that sort of a PC or that sort of a console in your living room, even if you don't have one. So in terms of some of the issues that I have noticed, sometimes the dock does not always work. I did mention this before, and this was an issue with my other dock as well, the one that I use for my PC. It was kind of happening with that as well. You might have to unplug it, replug it. Sometimes you might have to actually remove the power supply for whatever reason from the dock, and it starts up. It's really weird, but you do have to kind of play around with it, make sure everything is updated. But that is one thing that I did notice. Another thing that I did notice was when it comes to it being connected to the TV, there will be times where it would kind of refresh the TV. I don't know if that makes sense, where you kind of get this little pop-up of an HDMI has been connected. So I don't know if that was an issue with my HDMI cable or if it was an issue with that dock that I was using. So it's possible that it kind of, the audio cuts out in between because it's almost like it's reconnecting to the HDMI port or whatever. So that was one thing that I did notice, but again, that could be an issue with my specific third-party dock and that TV and that HDMI cable. There's so many factors, but that was an issue that did happen, so I didn't want to mention that. And of course, the main one, at least for me, was the controllers that I did mention before, was not having that perfect connection. Most cases it's fine, but with the 8BitDo and the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, it was kind of here and there. It wasn't always perfect. So that's something that you do need to keep in mind. If you use an Xbox controller, that's good. I was not able to find a way to use the USB dongle for the Xbox controller. I can only use the Bluetooth, so I'll still kind of keep doing some research into that to see if that can work. But if that worked, it would have been perfect. But I still had to use my Bluetooth controller, and at least here, I don't really have that issue. It might be there's no interference or whatever. But again, you do need to test it out, because it might work perfectly, but it might not work. And overall, look, if you are someone that has a Steam Deck, but you don't have a PS5, a Switch, or a PS4, a 360, whatever, any console, you don't have that, but you're looking at the Steam Deck as a console-like device, it is a console-like device. You can use it as a console. Don't look at it in terms of all the stuff that you hear online and that, oh, it's meant for handheld, it's 720p, low settings, 720p, 30 FPS, you can dock it but use it as a PC, you can dock it here and there. No, when you dock it and you play that game and you dock it at a 4K TV, I use my LG C1 for this, on a 4K TV and everything like that, you will have a console-like experience, and it will be a good console-like experience. It won't be an experience that makes you in any way feel that, oh wow, this game is ruined for me, or this game was not fun, anything like that. Nope. You will enjoy Elden Ring like the way it was meant to be enjoyed. You will enjoy Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order like the way it was meant to be enjoyed. You will enjoy any of these big AAA games that come out that are able to run on Steam Deck, of course, the way they were meant to be played and enjoyed. I mean, I had such a great time kind of playing Elden Ring with my sister. You know, it was such a great way for us to connect because both of us love the game. Both of us kind of have our own things about the game that we know and we don't know, and we were kind of able to share that experience together. And for me, you know, Elden Ring already is a game that I really love, but the Steam Deck is something that now I view as something that brought me closer together with my sister and with my family. It was just this thing that, you know, having seen everyone after such a long time, and I'm gonna try not to be emotional, but something that, you know, people I haven't seen in a very long time, and being able to kind of play this with them, and, you know, me and my sister kind of going back and forth, we should do this, we should do that, stuff like that. You know, it was such a wonderful experience, and like I have to thank the Steam Deck for that. Who would have thought that I would be using the Steam Deck this way? But if you are someone that, you know, let's say doesn't have a PC or a console and just has a Steam Deck, yep, you basically have a console. If you have a PC, if you have a Switch and all those consoles and stuff like that, yes, Steam Deck is still a viable console. I know you won't use it at the moment if you have a PS5 or an Xbox or a PC, you know, especially a PC that's better than the Steam Deck. If you have those, you probably won't use it, but it is there. It is there for that moment when you're like, you know what, all my consoles are connected upstairs, but in the basement for whatever reason, I don't have a console there. I'm gonna put my Steam Deck there. Or I can put the Steam Deck in my room TV and play it there. Or you know what, I'm going on this work trip for like a month. I'm gonna take my Steam Deck and the dock and I'm set. I have a console there and I'll be able to enjoy this game. Like it honestly opens so many doors that way. And for me, that console experience, like when I look back at the games that I played, in no way am I thinking about, oh yeah, the game didn't run well, anything like that. I'm just thinking about the game, the music, the experience, and my sister and I playing through Elden Ring and how that experience was. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe. You know what to do. Thank you so much everyone for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye.